did, but you were smiling the whole time. Hold on. Wait a second. Get off my stage, Abigail. There's a lot of people that say that about me, too. But, you're stupid, but I like you. Anyway, all right, real quick before I bring up the squad, I just wanted to, yes, that is a very nice stuffed animal. Real quick, last weekend we got a little crazy. Yes? We were a little bit amped up. All right, so the reason why, I just want to explain something real quick, because we did that whole, respect thing at the beginning of the school year. I'm going to come back to it for just a brief second, because I really want you guys to have a fun time here at OcYth, but at the same time, we do games, and the reason why we do games is I want you guys to compete as a small group, and some people are really called to competition, and that's okay. Some of you guys are not, and that's totally fine for you. Maybe you're the person that really likes music, and you're a praise team, or you're out there and you enjoy the music part. Some of you that are really into the small group time and the fellowship time. We at OC want to make sure that our large group and our small group is a place where everybody feels welcome and doesn't feel like they have to compete if they don't want to. Some of you guys are working through learning to pray, we want to make sure this is a place that you guys don't have to do something, but you are moved to do something. Some of the small groups, when we did the OC Cup last time, literally eventually the small groups figured out that if you don't know the answers to them, they got together as a team and they're like, all right, you have to go over there and you have to go over there and we've got a better chance to win. And so they started figuring things out as a small group. We think small group is so very important, but we also respect each other in the fact that we don't go, ha, you guys are losers. Yeah, they may be, but this isn't the place that we do that. Yes? Okay, so we do that. Also, there's one other thing I'd want to say, everybody give Kenny a clap. Hey, Kenny. Sorry, you came out, you get a clap. The other thing that I want to say is during my sermons, I'll ask occasionally for some questions, but there's two things that I want to curb. A, the excessive talking over video games and stuff like that. I see a lot. Some people are really here to learn about Jesus, and they've got things going on in their life. Try to I'm not saying be silent. If I say something that really moves you and you want to say something to a friend, that's totally cool. But if you're just talking during the sermon because you're bored, then sitting up front and around people, that's not appropriate. You got to control yourself a little bit. And that's okay to if something comes up and you're like, man, that's totally you, or something like that. I get that. And I don't really answer questions during the sermon. That really chops it. Sometimes I'll ask you to give feedback, but I'm not, this isn't class. I got a question. If you have a question, write it down and ask it in small group. That would be a perfect and completely appropriate time to go, hey, man, he said that, but I don't get that. That's why we have small groups. That's the point of it. And so I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer or hey, everybody, look at my stuffed animal. That's distracting to, Jesus, why we're here. Does it make sense? So some people love competition. Some people love the education part. Some people love the music. Some people love the fellowship time. Let's respect all and each other. And I hate having this conversation, but I think it's so important for you guys to understand. You are all growing and learning and figuring life out. And so occasionally we just need to stop and go, hey, let's pump the brakes. I want you guys to win. I want you guys to have fun. I want you to understand who Jesus is and how he relates to your life. Yes? Can we all agree to that? Yay. All right. Sweet. All right. You guys come up. Abigail, you can come up now. Yeah. Sarah, give me your mic. And then you guys can do announcements. I'll leave the stage. Yay. Wow, everybody gets happy about that. Oh, Dwight left. Sweet. Give them the slide. Oh, they don't have a clicker, so Caitlin, you're in charge.
Crew in a movie, Wednesday night, 6:45 to 8:15. The movie that we're watching is the Chosen series, and it already started.
But that's okay. We're only on the third one. You can catch up.
The David show at Sight and Sound is December 17th at 3. A student must attend with a parent.
Yeah. If you want to form, they're back there. It's $90 for the grown-up people, and then 11 and 12-year-olds, it's $40. We got a bus. We're going first come, first serve. Once we sell out, we're done.
September 25th at 12:30 to 3, so after third service, in the OC 45, middle school girls get to know you party. Food and games are provided.
Tomorrow we have a 9th through 12th grade girls from 6 to 7:30 in this building. It's a Bible study. We're going to talk about things we want to talk about in a Bible study, and it's just to get to know you better.
So that's tomorrow night, 6 to 7:30 right here. Game time.
HOCO or no-go?
Anybody seen the HOCO promo? Like, anybody asked anybody at homecoming yet? Anybody ever done the sign or see somebody like propose with the sign before? You ever see these? She says they're so cute, and this one back here goes, "Bleh." All right, so all I did was I searched the web, and so did I find this HOCO Pro, or is it a fake one that I couldn't find on the web? And you can steal it from me because they're that good. All you have to do is decide. Well, you pick a gift, by the way. You can pick which gift you want them to have. Is he going speaker? No, he says, he's going speaker. All right. All right, make sure you hide those. Yeah, hide those, Caitlin. Because I know middle schoolers that are like, ooh, I'm going to steal all the answers. All right. So which side are you? Which side do you want to be?
HOCO.
You're a real proposal, you're fake. Okay. Abigail's fake. Give them the first one, Caitlin. I got the clicker, so give them the first one.
2, 4, 6, 8. Will you be my HOCO date?
Is that a real sign somebody made that I found on the internet? But if a boy actually showed up with that, would you be like, oh my God, this is so cute? All right. If you think it's real, go to Brady's side. If you think it's fake, go to Abigail's side. If you don't care, stay seated. That's fine. We're not here to judge. But do you think a high school boy, maybe he's got a girlfriend that's a cheerleader?
We have 2 on this side.
All right. Oh, he's
3.
got 3. All right. Oh.
4.
Peer pressure. Oh, no, another one. All right. Go ahead, Caitlin. Give it to him.
HOCO.
It
It's
is
true.
a HOCO Pro.
Wow.
Wow, he worked hard on that sign. All right, next one.
I'll go loco if you don't go to the HOCO with me.
Real or fake? I feel like these are all like homeschool prom signs too. Like you could use these either way. Because I was homeschooled. Oh, he's putting the speaker on the line. All right. Nobody else wants, there is no middle ground. You guys are over there, right? Yeah. All right. If you're out, cheater. All right, go ahead and give it to him.
No go.
I did not find them. You think you saw that sign, but I did not see that sign on the internet. I simply Googled. It's a simple Google.
I didn't know how else to hydro flask ya HOCO. What?
Hydro flask, and he said, I didn't know how to ask
confused.
ya to HOCO. You think it's fake? Well, what happens if he gave her a hydro flask because she wants to save the turtles and wears beaded necklaces? You know, maybe that's her jam. Maybe she's a Visco girl. Is that a thing anymore? Is Visco girl, is that dead? Okay, that's dead. All right, I was just making sure. Visco's dead? All right. So we're not saving the turtles anymore. I just want to make sure we're not saving the turtles. So now we are back to eating turtle soup. Got it. All right. Are you guys ready? Brady, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, give it to him.
HOCO.
I'll be fantastic if you go, I guess, to HOCO with me.
Van Gogh? Oh, I see that in
Go,
there.
okay.
You think it's yeah? She's like, it's lame, but it's yeah. I like how confident these girls are. Like, they're just like, I know how confident this is because did they just give the girls? Yeah, the girls. No, he's back here. He's representing. All right. You ready, Abigail? All right.
It's Hoko.
Wow, they even painted that too.
My name's not.
Oh, hold on. It'll come back on. It'll come back on. Occasionally the video projector freaks out. I know, they really did put some work into that.
My name's not Harry, but I still want to arrive in styles with you at Hoko.
Oh, we're going to have a winner. Yay. All right, were you ready? Who's ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
All right, go ahead.
No go.
It's a no-go. There you go. Nevaeh with the win. Look at the
Your
middle school
speaker.
boys are your best friends now. They're all like, we love you. All right, let's go through a couple more of them real quick, and then praise the worship team. You guys can get up there and do your thing.
If you got the dough and you got the sauce, I hope there's a pizza you that wants to cheese me with me at the homecoming.
I got you. Somebody, they're like, if you're not a Domino's pizza delivery boy, like, you'd better not. You can go ahead and get ready. Go ahead and give him to him, Kaylin. We got no more winners. Somebody
Okay.
did that.
Mario is red, Sonic is blue. I really want to
I
go to
believe it.
Hoko with you.
That's
No
not
go.
one. See, boys, you can steal that. You got to find a girl that likes video games, though.
It would be a blast if you went to the Hoko with me because I think you're dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite? Is that what they're trying to do there? Is that
No
what they're
go.
trying to do there? Or are they just going, oh, regular Dynamite? Oh, I gotcha. All right, Kaylin, next one.
I know you are trash, so let me pick you up and take you out to homecoming.
I hope this is real.
Hoko.
I hope she's just. All right, well, is there any more? Was that it?
Do you llama go to the homecoming? I'll pack up my dancing shoes for you.
Hoko.
That's legit.
Tiebreaker. If you were a fruit, you'd be a fine apple. Homecoming?
It's like a pineapple.
Hoko.
Wow. All right, so that one was lame, but the trash one's my favorite. I don't know why. It's so bad.
Guys, maybe don't use the trash one.
What if she's an Oscar the Grouch fan? She could be an Oscar the Grouch fan.
All right, guys, let's stand up.
Standing
can't thank you enough for what you have done for each and every one of us, whether we choose to believe. But God, I pray that this group of kids, this group of adults, brings more people to you, so that we can be in heaven with you whenever you come back. God, that's something we don't want to miss out on. We just thank you so much. Be with Dwight as he brings your word here this morning, and just be in the small group time as well. In your name, amen.
They like ran off the stage today. Just left you alone. Somebody told me we didn't do key tag bingo, so we got to do that real quick. Get your key tags out. Oh, did you forget your key tag? Hopefully your number don't come up. I promise you it won't be 93 again because it's sitting over there in that bucket. All right, 74. You 73, seriously? 74? Anybody? If you need a key tag, make sure you go get a key tag today. I like how they reminded me, too. They're like, key tag bingo. 31. Just going to keep going. 51. You have it? You don't have your key tag? You have to have it with you, yo. No. When I'm done speaking, just go put your name. We'll get a list going. 98. You're 90? All right. I should just say 72 just to make you mad. 32. Nobody? 7. Yes, we have a winner. He's like, I win. There you go, he wins. So yeah, grab something from the prize table. Get you some sweets. I like how they're clapping for you like you're some sort of like hero that you just like saved the day. Shut, I can't believe you're so amazing. He's like, I just sat there and won. All right. Actually, it was your team going, he just got us 100 points. What? All right, so if you don't have a key tag, please get a key tag. If you have a cell phone, just put it on the app, Stokard Key Ring. It'll still scan it at the front door that just scans your cell phone. Like, it's that easy, and then you don't have to bring it and remember it every week and forget it every week and things like that. Have your mom bring it for you. Or put it in your phone. Yeah, absolutely. Whatever you want to do. So, all right. So let's get into this because last week we kind of talked a little bit, but like I said, it was a little bit of a hot mess last week. Stones of remembrance, and so throughout the Bible, there's 250 times in which it's like 253 or something like that. It's close where God tells us to remember. And let me just say this because it's very true. This is the hardest sermon series I've ever had to study out for teens. And you're like, well, remembering's not that hard. It's not that I'm dumb and can't remember. Like, well, some of you guys are like, yeah, well, maybe. So it's not that. It's just so interesting because when I talk to adults, we have lots of memories because we have lots of life experiences. So I was on the phone yesterday with some of you guys know the story about how I went to the St. Louis Cardinals game. I talked to that guy yesterday. I was really excited. We weren't supposed to go, and the only reason why we got busted while we were there, we were supposed to be at a youth conference, was because we were accidentally on a Doritos commercial that my dad was watching. Whoops. And so I've got life memories and experiences, things that went really, really, really well, but also really, really bad. And the crazy part is you guys are now in the season of life in which you are creating those memories that you're going to remember for many years. Some of you are graduating this year. You're going to remember that. You had a huge win, 10-13 on 7 seconds left, and you kicked the winning field goal. Like, that's a good feeling. You're probably going to remember that game a little bit. You didn't kick the field goal, but your team did. Now, the kicker's always going to remember that game. Like, you guys are, who just learned how to drive recently? Anybody? No, you should not learn how to drive. You're like 4 foot tall. Like, you can't even reach the pedals yet. 5'2", my bad. You're going to remember that, right? Like, that's a pretty big deal. You guys are creating the memories. And so for me to stand up here and preach on who God is, in fact, there's a lot. Let me click forward to my next slide. There's a lot in the Bible that God remembers where he remembers his promise to you. So There's a lot in the Bible where God remembers his promises to you. He promises never to flood the earth again. He's like, I remembered my covenant. I remember to show you grace and mercy. I did that. The crazy thing is a lot of times we need to remember the promises of God, but how do we remember the promises of God if we haven't read the book? The crazy thing about the Bible, and I want you to understand this, as I was going through studying this, it has a lot of the answers. Some would say all of the answers, but there's a couple of things that we get to, as humans, figure out ourselves, like how to get ourselves out of sin. There's a lot of experiences in the Bible where somebody does and did something stupid or really well. And God says, I remember my covenant. You did something really poorly, and this is your punishment. You're going into slavery. You're going to this. But I will remember you and remove you so you can remember how good I am. It happens over and over and over in the Bible. There's several places in the Bible that people do things really, really dumb, and God just ends them. And if you and I don't understand the Bible, and so that's my encouragement today as you go through the teen years, you're creating a lot of those memories. What's going to happen is two things. One, they're going to be fantastic memories. You're going to get through and you're going to have a lot of great memories of your middle school and high school years. And a couple of bad ones. Not everything goes perfect. I understand that. Or you're not going to read the Bible. You're not going to understand who God is and the character of God and how he helps us through the broken times and the frustrating times. And you're going to have a lot of bad memories of high school. You will have memories. You get to be and help navigate whether or not they are good or they are bad. See, the cool part about God is he's like, listen, I am consistent with who I am and how I work. I will show you grace. I will show you mercy. When you fall short, I'm not going to smite you every single time. Like, I'm going to help you work through it. I love you. I want good for you. I want all these things. But the crazy thing is some of you are just going, you're like my 3-year-old or my 4-year-old right now. Delaney's my 4-year-old who every word out of her mouth, everything is, I'll do it myself. Like, she's just big into like, I'll do it myself, Daddy. And I'm like, okay, Miss 40-year-old sassy pants. But she's just in that, like, I'll do it myself. The problem is when you do it yourself, it takes longer, yes? The first time you do something, anybody get a job this year? Like the first couple of times you Chick-fil-A, first day at Chick-fil-A, was it super fast and easy? You're like, this is hard. But then you do the job over and over and over again. You practice, it becomes easy. That's the same thing in anything in life. But if you already have the answers in the Bible, you don't engage the Bible, there's nothing for you to remember. Hey, listen, if I cheat on my girlfriend and she catches me, she's breaking up with me. That's pretty simple, and there's a lot of heartache. There's a lot of It's not simple. There's a lot of heartache in that. But, like, the characteristics of God doesn't change. What he wants for you doesn't change. Stupid sin doesn't change the outcome of the frustration. So as you go through the middle school and high school years, you have to understand that God wants good for you. Us small group leaders want good for you. We want to celebrate you when you do well. We want to walk alongside of you in the hard times that you have no control over. We want to walk through the hard times in which you were an idiot and you made a bad choice, and we get to walk alongside of you so that that memory is cushioned a little bit, but you do remember the fact that you were an idiot and caused that problem to happen. That's what we get to do. So last week we go, how do we remember? Those with the phone, you're really good at this. Immediately. Yep. How do you remember things right now? Kiss face? No, you like Instagram, Facebook, posting, Snapchat. Like, you guys are fantastic at remembering things. You got your phone, and every time that I look on it, I see at least 70 of you, like, with a picture of every living moment that you've ever been. You're like, I'm in my football outfit. I'm in my bathing suit. I'm in my snowmobile, whatever. You know, every living moment of your life, you're snapping a picture of it. Some of you are like, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't have a phone yet. When you get one, I guarantee you that will become your first and newest addiction. Me. Like, it's all over the social media web. It's all over. Like, we just have a natural act of wanting to preserve who we are, build ourselves up. You guys are good at remembering. What I want to talk to you today about, so last week I said something, I want to reiterate it. When we remember something, it affects our emotions. And I went through this verse with you about worry. And so I want to reiterate it because we kind of got into a little bit of a hot mess at that point, and everybody was a little wound up and things like that. I want to revisit it because, I have some fantastic memories. I sat and talked with Chris yesterday about going to the Cardinals game and some of the things we did in youth group. We caught up and we talked about books and TV shows. We had so many memories, and I felt so good hanging up the phone with him because, man, our memories are mostly good, even though we got in trouble, like we did it together and it was fun and we got punished together and we couldn't hang out. So it was good. It was a good memory. I've got a lot of good memories. Memories create emotions. Some of you guys got some pretty not good memories, some pretty frustrating memories. And that's what good friends should walk around and with you through those tough times. So that narrows those. Every memory you have is going to affect you emotionally. And so a lot of people are struggling with stress, anxiety, depression, because a lot of their memories are causing them not to want to do the next thing that is the same. So maybe it was dating and you have a bad thing and you're like, I'm never going to date again because I have this negative emotion that goes with the memories that came with that. Or maybe it's, you tried out for a sports team, you didn't make it that year. God bless you. That was a good one. I only give 2 God bless yous. Third one's like you're on your own. So maybe it's, I didn't make the sports team, so I'm never trying out for that sport again, and I'm never going to hang out with him. Or maybe it was a friend that backstabbed you, and now the new friend that you have, you're like, I'm never going to let them get close enough to hurt me. And so all of our memories are created based on emotion. In fact, we did Matthew last week. This one is based on worry. And so, God, this is why I tell you not to worry about everyday life. Whether you have enough food or drink or enough clothes to wear, isn't life more than food and your body more about clothing? Look at the birds. They don't plant or harvest or store food in barns, for their heavenly Father feeds them. And aren't you far more valuable to him than they are? Can all your worries add a single moment to your life? And so what God's saying in there is, remember, I am a God who provides. Most of you don't worry about your next meal, and if you do, come see me, and you won't, because that is what the family of Christ should do. You shouldn't worry about those things. And God says, I will help provide those things. Remember me as a God, and a God who provides, who's grace-filled in mercy. So the first thing you need to do in your remembrance as you start growing up, as you start moving through middle school and then into high school and eventually college, dating, driving, teachers who don't like you, you who are a bad friend but then need to apologize, like all the things that are going to happen to you over the next couple of years, you need to first and foremost remember you have a God that loves you. He wants what is good for you. He does not want you to suffer and suffer in silence and alone, and you have a God who loves you. You also have small group leaders, youth pastors. Many of you have parents, grandparents that love you and want what's best for you. They've got a lot of memories in them. The Bible has a lot of memories. They're just stories of memories of good and bad and consequences that have happened. And you should draw on them. And this one, it says, don't worry. Why? Right now, your mom and dad provide everything. If I could pile up the poopy diapers for one of my kids, it would probably fill this room. None of you guys think about how hard it is to be a parent and get you to where you are right now. But man, if I sat down with your parents, they would tell you stories for days about how crazy you were as a kid. Delaney, I used to seriously, as a baby, she was colicky, which means she just cried all the time for no reason. And I literally had to, so that my wife could sleep, she'd go upstairs and sleep, and I would walk circles in my basement for literally hours as this kid screamed at me, in my face, I'm not sleeping, I hate you as a dad. It was crazy. And I just kept walking, going, dear Jesus, please make this child shut up. Please, please, please. I don't know what to do. We can tell you stories about how crazy you were. But we don't remember the fact that your parents did a lot to get you here, right now, that they love you so much. But you should. You should. Why? Because one day you're going to be a parent. One day you're going to care for someone. I hope. I pray. I think that's going to be awesome when you get married and you become a parent and you learn how crazy it is to love somebody. But the best part about this is God has over and over again these verses that you're seeing right here. This is God just saying, listen, I care for you. I love you. I want you to remember that I'm always here for you. I want you to remember that I put people in your life. You're here right now, not on accident. I truly do love and want to see what is good for you. And when you hurt, I hurt. And when something bad happens to you, like I get into the muck and the mire with your families because I love to see you guys succeed. You have people who care for you and your small group leaders. They're all in. They're volunteers. They're not here because they're getting paid $1 gajillion. It's pour coffee and biscotti in the back. That's what I got. They love you and they care for you. They're showing up every week for you. You need to remember that you're not alone. You have a God who loves you. And so he's like, don't worry. Why? Because I provide. If you're worrying about the food, it's done today. Like, I'll take care of it. Just tell me that you're struggling with it. Are you worried about the clothes on your back? They might not be Louis Vuitton, but all you guys are dressed right now, which is good. Just realize and be grateful for what you have so that as you go through life and you get the jobs that you want and you get those memories that you have, you can reach down and hang out with teenagers and go, hey, man, it's not going to be all that bad. I want to walk alongside you. I want to tell you. So one of the hardest things, I'll ask this question. If you don't have stories, how does this apply? You guys don't have a ton of stories just yet. You have some. Some of you guys have some really good stories, some funny stories. You got, as you get older, you learn how to drive, you get your job, the funny things that happen at your job, friendships that have blown up, friendships that have started, dating relationships, heartache. You guys have those stories. But you got a lot more to make, and that's okay. You're in a different place. So how does this apply for you? Wisdom today is slow down and listen to the stories. To remember, sometimes you have to listen to other people's stories to learn about what's going to happen next. Sometimes you have to listen to the stories. Listen. That means you have to be quiet. I know it's hard for some of you, like, ah! Sometimes you have to listen to the stories so that you avoid the conflict of what's to come. Learning how to drive, dating relationships, school classes that stink. I'm going to say this out loud because I think this is so important. I said this to a student this week. I think it was you this week. Yeah, you. You're not in trouble. I promise. A lot of parents, we spend a lot of time as parents wanting our kids to get good grades. I think grades are so arbitrary. If you've tried your best and you got a C, I think that's okay because what happens is we train our kids so much to get straight A's. And then we just teach them to do the right thing, to do kind of like dangling a carrot in front of your head. If you get an A, I'll get you an Xbox. We do that, and all we're doing is creating guys to work in offices and cubicles. Do this work, I give you paycheck. Do this work. I think if you're trying hard, you guys have different passions and desires. We want to, and every parent right now is going, don't tell them that. But I think that if you are trying your hardest, then the things that you're passionate about will rise to the surface, and we should celebrate those. Competitive people, we should celebrate you're competitive, as long as you're nice about being competitive. People that are singing, we should celebrate. You should be on the stage. We should be celebrating your gifts and talents. For those of the artistic, we should be showing off and bragging about your gifts and talents as long as they honor God. For those things, but for you guys to figure that out, sometimes you just need to shut up. I know, everybody's like, oh, he said shut up on stage. Sometimes you just need to be quiet and listen to somebody else's remembrances so you don't make the same mistakes as us. Let me tell you a quick story because I love stories. I'll give you one remembrance and then we'll be done. So I learned how to drive on a farm. Some of you know this story, maybe some of you don't. Learn how to drive on a farm. So it was the summer of my 15-year-old year. So for those guys learning how to drive, don't do what I did. This is a story of don't do what I did, okay? This is one of those stories. So I went to this farm. I had Mr. Brock call my dad up, say, hey, I need somebody to help bale hay. Do you know what baling hay is? They have the machine. They turn them into bales, and it shoots up from the tractor onto the thing, and you have to stack them. Literally all day. You get black boogers, and you're just in hot, sweaty dust. It's nasty. Your forearms are all cut up. He's like, yep, I baled hay before. All right, it's hot, nasty, hard work, right? And you probably don't get much money, but Mr. Brock's like, hey, listen, I got Chad Montgomery doing it. I got my daughter, Susan Brock, will drive the tractor. And I just need him to get out here, and we're going to bale hay. And that's all I needed to hear. Susan was driving the tractor. Ha, ha. And it was even better because the first day I showed up, Susan driving the tractor, short shorts, her bikini top, life was Good, I didn't even care about the money. I showed up every day early. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, she was beautiful. Every country song that played on the radio that year was like Susan Brock. I loved it. So I know she's cool now. I love my wife. Don't you guys like freak out? I love my wife. I'm not going to Susan. Anyway, so I'm baling hay, having the time of my life, and Mr. Brock comes out and he goes, "Hey, listen, that hay wagon's full. I need you, Dwight, to go grab the truck and back it up to the wagon, and we just push it to the barn. We'll get it up in the barn." And I was like, "Sir, Mr. Brock, I've never driven before. I rode my bike here." It was about a 3-mile bike ride. It wasn't too bad. I rode my bike here, and he's like, "Oh, it's a farm. You can drive on the farm. You don't need your license out here." I'm like, "Okay." So, I mean, when you get a chance to drive, and then I'm like, "Oh, Susan's going to see me drive, man. Ooh, she's going to love it." And so I go over to the truck. I get in. Keys are in it. I turn it over, and I look down at the dash, and it's one of those old Ford pickup trucks where the glass was just shattered out of it, so I couldn't see, like I knew that there was, like, the P, the D, the N, and the R. And I was like, park, drive, neutral, reverse. And at the time, I'm like, all right, I got this down. I've seen it on my mom's car. I could totally do this. You know, left means stop, right means go. Okay, I got this. And so I was like jacked up. And so I dropped it down in reverse. And I'm like, first one, and click down in reverse. I'm like, I made it in. We're going backwards. So I'm backing it up to the wagon. I'm like, she's seeing me. Life is good. And I just, the truck didn't have a good turn radius, so I didn't get it all the way around. He goes, "Just pull it up and then back it back in here. You'll be fine." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'll be fine." And so I put in drive, and I go up a little bit. And then, like, at that moment, he's like, "Oh, that's good. And Susan's like, "You got this, Dwight." And as soon as she said that, like, my heart was like, oh, like, she saw me. And so I'm backing it up to this trailer again. But so I accidentally shot it all the way up to, like, when I put in drive, I'm like, "Oh, which one am I in?" And so I dropped it down to neutral on accident. Like, I'm like, ugh. So I hit the gas, and it just went really loud. But the old trucks, what happens is like, if you were to drop it in drive right away, it would just hit and go. And so I freaked out and didn't, like, hit the brake pedal to, like, stop it from revving. And so I threw it into reverse because I freaked out. And the tires just went, and I started coming back fast. And so I freaked out, and so I got back, and I freaked out. I got the brake down, but I just immediately put it back into drive because I was afraid I was going to hit the wagon. The problem is I never hit the brake, and so it kept spinning. I just threw it into drive, and so now I'm taking off down this gravel lane, and I'm freaking out because I'm going the other way, and so I'm like, if you use one foot to stop and push the gas, 2 feet would be better, right? And so I, like, slammed but one foot hit the brake and the other one slid off on the gas. And I don't know if you know what happens when you do that, but the wheels go even, like, burn out faster. The problem is I'm freaking out and I'm heading towards Grandma's house. Oh, don't get ahead of me. Settle down. So I figured out just at the end, like, as, like, I'm barreling towards her dining room where she's sitting there sipping a cup of tea, and I hit this bush that they had. And I hit the bush, and I rode up on the bush, and luckily the bush stopped me from literally going into Grandma's dining room, and she would have sat on the hood, and I would have sent her to the living room on the couch as fast as I was going. And so, like, I'm up on this bush. I'm sitting there. I turn the engine off. I'm just praying, like, I'm dead. I'm so dead. My dad's going to kill me after Mr. Brock kills me. This story's going all over school. I think that was what I was worried about most. I'm like, I'll be dead, so it's not a big deal, but school's going to find about. Luckily, we didn't have cell phones back then, so she had to go to school to tell me, and we had another month before school started, so maybe she'd forget. I don't know. And so Mr. Brock comes up to the door of the car. I'm just sitting there sweating. I mean, just, oh, God, I'm dead. Oh, Jesus, I'm dead. Just take all my money and paycheck, whatever. And he comes up to the door laughing. I mean, we're talking rolling out of his country hillbilly mind, just smacking the door. He's like, "You just sit right there, boy. I'll be back." And I'm like, yep, pretty sure I'm dead. I don't think I can ride my bike fast enough to get out of here. So I just sat there and sweat. He came back with a piece of paper, and he goes, "Read this." I'm like, is this my death certificate? Like, what is, like, is he a coroner too? Like, and so I'm reading this paper. He had gotten a quote that week from a tree company to have that bush ripped out. I just saved that man $600. And I'm like, do I get a piece of that? Like, he goes, no, but let's get that truck off here and you can back it up to the wagon. And he let me back it up to the wagon again. And so I ripped out his tree, saved him like $600. Susan's dying laughing. We had a good laugh about that the rest of the summer. He paid me my full money, too. The crazy part is it didn't even damage the truck. The truck wasn't even, it was one of those old Ford trucks that, like, you could throw off. It's like a Nokia cell phone from the 1990s where you chuck against the wall. Like, those trucks you just beat. And he's like, dude, you saw the dash. You can't hurt this thing anymore. And so, long story short, my mistake was I was trying to drive to impress somebody instead of focusing. So when you get your license, please focus. Don't use 2 feet to drive because inevitably that brake pedal is about this wide and my feet were about that wide, so it's going to like cause problems. Don't freak out. Stay calm and don't run over grandma. That's probably the moral of the story. But you guys, like, I tell those stories. Your leaders have just as many funny stories or heartbreak stories. Stop every once in a while. Listen to the funny stories, learn a little bit. You're going to make some of your own mistakes, and then you're going to have to stop and listen how to get out of those mistakes. It's the hardest thing you're going to learn as a teen, and this is why it was so hard for me to study this, because I have to tell you, sometimes you need to put your phone down. Sometimes you need to stop and actually hang out with your parents just for a little bit. Sometimes you need to ask questions and then just be quiet and let somebody talk to you. Sometimes it's okay to go to the family reunion and hear those silly, stupid stories about Uncle Ned when he was an idiot too. So that you don't, or my brother Donald who went to the pool and thought he was going to get to swim. I told that story last week. Like, he thought he was going to get to swim, but he wouldn't help weed the garden. So literally my Aunt Sandy just took a knife and just popped all of his floaties because he couldn't swim without them. And so he sat by the pool just ticked off. But he never disrespected Aunt Sandy again. So last week I told that story. Listen to the stories. The hardest thing you're going to learn is to just be quiet for a second, step away from the video games, engage other people who know a little bit more than you. It's the hardest thing that you're going to learn, but if you do that, I guarantee you'll be farther along in your faith walk. You'll be further along in homecoming proposals, in just, life. You guys got a lot of great life ahead of you. God, I know, has plans for every one of you. You're beautiful, wonderful, perfect, just the way you were designed and created by God of the universe. Take a second and just listen to the stories and learn from them, and you will be so much more better off. With that, let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this time together. Remembrance is a big deal. You said it a lot. Please remember. Please remember. Please don't make the mistakes. You honored all of your promises to us. You remembered us. You deliver us. You show us grace and mercy. God, you truly are a God who remembers. Help us to remember not only what we can remember from the experiences of life, but also help us to lean on the memories of others, whether it's characters from the Bible or real people from the Bible or our parents or our small group leaders. Help us learn those stories so we don't make the same mistakes they did, because mistakes hurt. And I hope these students avoid those by just remembering with other people, remembering the stories of the Bible, and eventually just shutting up and learning about it. We all need to do that from time to time. We ask this in Jesus' name, and all God's people